Good afternoon. I'm here to talk to you about communication and the importance of communication in our school. Today we're talking about the different terms that are associated with communication. Communication is a way of sending and receiving messages to share thoughts, meanings, opinions, and ideas, which we all need to do at school. Communicators send and receive messages, and coding is a method of taking thoughts and feelings and turning them into verbal communication. Decoding is more of an elaboration, creating meaning from the communication. The message is what is delivered. What are you trying to say? Feedback is reaction, nonverbal. It can be verbal. Yes, a nod of the head, a shake of the head, like, what are you talking about? Channel, how the message is delivered. Like, is it delivered via email? Are you saying it straight to me? Are you calling me on the phone and telling me? The noise is what's happening around. I just had to restart this because we had voices on the overhead speaker, so that would be considered noise when I'm trying to communicate and deliver a message. And the environment is where you're delivering the message today in a classroom. We talk about intrapersonal communication, the way people communicate face-to-face, sharing meaning, the message they are trying to convey both verbally and non-verbally. Two great ways to communicate are interactional view. The interactional view is where one person is talking and another person is responding with feedback and kind of asking, so what do you think about this? Does this make sense? And then the feedback allows the communicator to clarify what's going on. Transactional view, this is the ideal way to communicate with people. This is when two people are talking and not at the same time, but conveying messages with each other and talking to each other. Listening, probably one of the hardest and most important things to do. We need to actively listen, and we need to listen with our bodies. We need to listen with our eyes. We need to make sure that we're showing the person we're listening. All our electronics are put down and we're engaged in the conversation. Body language is another huge form of communication. If when I'm talking to you, you're turned away from me, or you're doodling, or you're looking other places, or you've got your hands behind you, or your shoulders are slumped, those kind of things convey disinterest. But if you're engaged in the conversation and your body shows it and you're listening to what I have to say, then I'm going to continue on with my communication. Reflection, probably the most important time in conversation. This is also when you're communicating in a collaborative team, when you want to think like, do I have smart trust? Not blind trust and not like suspicion, but that smart trust, that special place in the middle where you know that people trust what you're having, what you say, that you are an expert in your area. Cultural perspective. Each person has different viewpoints, backgrounds, and opinions to any given situation. This is their perspective. I just thought that this cartoon was a great way to talk about perspective, and one of these persons says they see 3, one sees 4. Cultural awareness is the understanding of the difference between all people, including but not limited to people from other countries or other backgrounds, especially difference in attitudes and values. This becomes really important when we're collaborating with families and when we're talking to families about what's going on and our thoughts about ideas. We have to understand where they're coming from. This happens with other teachers. Where are they coming from? What are their thoughts and feelings? How are they interacting with others? So cultural awareness is super important and should be something that we consider and value. The next thing is empathy, the understanding of another person's feelings, their thoughts and experiences without the person actually having to communicate these feelings. So that is super important. Empathy is just understanding someone else's feelings. We need to be able to do that. And it also comes into time when we can discuss some problem solving that we have with communication. So if we go back to our first slide where we talked about communication, it's important to understand how to problem solve, what problem solving looks like. We have to come together and gather the information, find a solution, and implement that solution as a team. So communication comes to play really big in problem solving, and in working with your teammates and the children in your classroom. Thank you.